Welcome to Plan for Your Land. Thank you for joining us. This video covers a few guidelines to help everything run smoothly. Whether you are watching online or in person, please be respectful of all experiences and perspectives. Thank you in advance for your patience if we encounter any technology hiccups. Here is an outline of today's orientation. We will begin with introductions and then a brief overview of Plan for Your Land. After the overview, you will meet your local watershed councils and representatives from Mid-Valley River Connections. Finally, we will wrap up and cover next week's topics and homework.
We were just getting ready to do introductions. And so, I'm with the North Santiam Watershed Council. We're over here in Jefferson. And I'd originally said Zoom, but I think we'll start over here. So, and we'll have you go around and say your name and kind of what basin you're from.
Well, I assume it's the Watershed Basin, Mary Cav.
Nice.
Bob Hill.
Bob Hill. Nice to meet you. I'm Marie Heuberger. I work for the North Santiam Watershed Council.
I'm Alex Shoulders. I work for the South Santiam Watershed Council.
Leanne Yee, I think I'm in South Santiam Watershed.
Dakota Ferry, North Santiam.
Styhl, I work for the South Santiam Watershed Council.
Collin McCandless, I'm the Executive Director of the Calapooia Watershed Council.
Alex Rice, I'm the Restoration Program Manager at the Calapooia Watershed Council.
And Dan Laward, we're on the Thomas Street, South Santiam.
Janice Collin, South Santiam.
Mitch Brand, North Santiam Watershed.
Emily Brand, North Santiam.
Will Parzik, South Santiam.
South Santiam.
Kim Coos, Corey Coos, North and South Santiam.
Nice. And so that was everybody at Jefferson. Maybe we'll, oh my gosh, wait.
You're back.
Forget my boss in the back, sorry. I'll pass it over to Monmouth. You're muted, Jordan.
Jordan Perez with Luckiamute Watershed Council.
Also attending in Monmouth is Suzanne Teller, Outreach Coordinator for the Luckiamute Watershed Council. Additionally, we have Ole Bergman, who lives in the Luckiamute Watershed. We also have Dr. Steve Taylor from Western Washington University, attending with 8 of his Earth and Environmental Science students.
I'll pass it over to Mary's River in Corvallis.
Hopefully we don't get any echo.
Hi, I hope we're not making y'all echo. Anybody echoing? All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Nina Dominici. I'm with the Marys River Watershed Council.
And I'm Danielle Melcher. I'm with the Marys River.
And we have 5 folks here. Should we have introductions all around? Yeah? Okay, I'll let y'all say your name.
I'm Greg Oberlin. Joni Summers.
Becca Brooke.
Mara Burke. Kristen McAlpine, and my property is in the Luckiamute Watershed. Oh, nice. Thank y'all all for being here. It's so exciting to have people from the whole region. So nice to meet everybody. And we'll pass it to anybody else?
Pass it to folks online. So how about Michael Clapp? You're the first one showing up on my screen, so I'm going to call you out. And
okay, I think I got unmuted. My name is Michael Clapp. I own 80 acres between Staten and Styhl, and I am wondering what to do with it. And so I'm here.
Nice.
I hope to be in person for most of these. This one just didn't work out. So thank you all for doing this.
Pamela Dalton.
I have property in the Luckiamute and Rickrell Watershed Council. I'm Pamela Dalton and lives in Dallas.
And Rose.
Hi, I'm Rose Holdorf. I'm a second generation on my family's land, which is in the Luckiamute Watershed, just south of the Coffin Butte landfill between Highway 99 and Soap Creek Road.
Awesome. We'll go to the other Rose.
Hi, this is Rose and Pat Mahoney, and we have 22 acres in Philomath. And our property's been in hay for 40 years, and we no longer have our hay farmer, so we're looking at new uses for the property.
Awesome. Buffy? Buffy Reese is the chairperson for Camp Talali, and they have 111 acres of property in Staten, and their creek is registered under the North Santiam River. I'm typing in here because I'm deaf, so I'm typing in. So, Anne? Oh, bummer, we can't hear you, Anne. I see you're unmuted, but your audio is not coming through. If you put your introduction in the chat, I'm happy to read it out. All right. While we're waiting, Val Hall?
Hi, I'm Valerie Hall, and our 3 acres are in the South Santiam district.
Nice. Daisy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'm Daisy Curry, and I actually live in Sweet Home, and we have property right next to the Calapooia River.
Cool. Abe Sword?
I'm Abe Sword, and we have 360 acres along the Calapooia, within the Calapooia watershed, and have a project going with them for several years now as well.
Cool. Jay Simmons?
That's me. I live out on the Marys River in Wren, and we also have a little piece of property on the Yaquina over headed to the coast.
Very cool. Fredland Crew?
Greetings all. This is Robert Fredland. My family stewards a piece of property in the Pudding River watershed. We take care of just about 20 acres with a little bit extra.
Awesome. Diana Walker?
Hi, I'm Diana Walker. I live up outside of Gates. I have 40 acres. I was part of the Beachy Creek Santiam fire and still doing fire recovery, so I'm trying to figure out how to get completely recovered and what now can I do.
Right. Lauren Miller?
Yeah, I'm actually in British Columbia, but my mom, Evan, who I wasn't sure if she was going to make it. I don't think she's made it, but she's coming to the series of meetings, is outside of Philomath and part of the Marys River watershed, has 5 acres, and I'm forgetting the conservation and habitat, but I've been trying to assist with that, and I'm excited about similar issues up in British Columbia too. So
cool. Juliana Landry?
Hi, nice to meet you all. My name's Juliana. My family owns about 17.5 acres on the lower Luckiamute River, right where it meets Soap Creek. I recently started managing that for my dad and trying to make a good plan for doing that.
Cool. Eric Hafner or Hafner?
Yeah, we have some property in the Marys River watershed, just between Philomath and Corvallis.
Cool. And then your name says Waypad 5.7.
That's funny. Waylon Pickett. Waypad is just what my computer knows me as, apparently. And my wife Toby and I have just about a year and a half ago acquired a farm along the Marys. And yeah.
Awesome. Kathy Bridges?
Yeah, I'm Kathy Bridges, and I have 150 acres south of Turner, and I'm on the North Santiam Watershed Council, and it's great to see so many people involved in this program. Thank you.
Yeah. Your name says Zoom user on it. Hearing. I was like, maybe I can ask to unmute. I don't know. Kaylee Corrado, I see you put your introduction in the chat. Feel free to come off mute if you'd like to tell us, or I can also read it. But...
Hey, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to be dealing with kids as you called on me. So, we have 10 acres in like Southeast Salem, so I think that's the South Santiam watershed.
Nice. iPhone Lori Havel.
Hi, I'm over in Northwest Polk, I think mainly the South Yamhill, about 25 acres, primarily forest land.
Cool. And then is it Jupa? Shupa?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. My name is Judith Paul, and I have 10.5 acres north of the Corvallis city limits with a portion of Sequoia Creek running through it. And I'm kind of having problems with my video and my audio right now, so I apologize.
No worries. We're no stranger to issues. We'll pass it to Chuck and Melissa. Chuck and Melissa are in the Calapooia Watershed Council. They have 5 acres in North Albany. We'll pass it to Amanda and Sage.
Hello, it's just Amanda. Sage will be joining at later sessions. I'm working with my mom, who has property up in McMinnville, so in the Yamhill watershed.
Nice. We'll pass it over to Katie and Ben.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is
Hey, it's us, Katie and Ben, Katie McCluskey too, but we live in Polk County and on about 24 acres.
Awesome. We'll pass it to M. Jero McCandless. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
No worries at all. I'm M. Jero Mikolos, and I'm a student at Willamette University, and I'm representing Castaway's Mill Creek Research Project, and I'm super happy to be here and hear about what we might be able to do for the mill race that runs through campus.
Welcome. I'll pass it to Allison. We'll pass it to Kelly Nemke. We'll pass it down the line to Brenda Barton.
Okay, no takers.
Yeah. What about James?
All right, this is James. Sorry about that. I am working on making dinner. I'm here with the kids. We've got about 20 acres, half mile from the Santiam River outside of Staten.
Nice. And then the last person down on our screen is Mark. All righty. Hearing nothing, I would kind of keep us on schedule. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and feel free if we missed you online to drop your introduction in the chat. But yeah, let's get back into it. So I'm going to quickly provide a little bit of context about Plan for Your Land. You're all here. It's great to see everybody virtually and in person. And so just kind of like why Plan for Your Land exists. And just checking, everybody online can hear me, right?
Yes.
What I wanted to do. Okay, great. Thank you. So our Plan for Your Land program, it did its like original orbit in 2021, and it was with South Santiam Watershed Council and North Santiam Watershed Council and Marion Soil and Water Conservation District. And it was to try like piloting this thing that basically the goal is to empower landowners to clarify their long-term goals and take meaningful actions for their property. This specific grant was written in a time when there was an historic amount of funding coming in for environmentally related projects. And so it was written in mind for that. And from a watershed council perspective, this program helps us fill a gap that a lot of watershed councils have, which is that finding outreach and planning capacity can be really difficult. We're all grant funded, so we have to be, doing work that goes towards specific projects. And so being able to do this like really engaged outreach helps us kind of bridge that gap, because at the same time, we're helping you guys clarify what you want to do with your property and maybe how the Watershed Council intersects with that. And so it also addresses like a number of mid-Willamette Valley concerns that are always coming up, which, drought, habitat degradation, and stream temperature is another really big one. I don't know, the workshop layout, I just wanted to let you guys, in on that. So we'll give you kind of like weekly homework assignments, which help guide you on writing your own conservation plan for your property. The homework you are given will kind of correspond with the person who's speaking that evening. So it's, if you're like me and you procrastinate, it's not, you should do it when you hear the lesson kind of thing. So you want it to be fresh in your mind as you're doing these worksheets. And then, of course, if you do them on time, you can bring any questions you have to us as well. And you'll hear weekly from different field experts to kind of inspire potential projects on your land and also maybe sharpen your skills of what you know. And then also all of our class materials you will retain access to in kind of a virtual library of resources. So, and that includes recordings for each session as well. And then in the final weeks, on March 7th and March 14th, we'll take a field trip to a project site. Graciously, Calapooia has organized one and the South Santiam has organized one. And so that'll be kind of working lands in the Calapooia, kind of because he still farms around the conservation project, correct? Yeah. Very cool. And then Dragonfly Ranch in South Santiam, which I believe is more conservation focused, right? Their land is more dedicated to conservation. So. And I just wanted to point out that class materials and homework will be available at your Watershed Council's Plan for Your Land page. And so I just pulled Luckiamute's webpage to kind of give an idea of what that looks like. It'll be a little button that says Plan for Your Land Materials. And when you click it, it takes you to a Google folder where everything from each class will be available. And then when you're done, you'll walk away with a written conservation plan with actionable next steps, as well as a vision statement for your property that you're caring for. And you'll also have kind of a list of project ideas if you do your homework, and project ideas for your land. So, and when that is the case, kind of you can connect with your local watershed council and other practitioners to see where funding for those ideas can kind of come from. So that is it. And so I am going to stop sharing for a second and pull up our other conversation, or other presentation tonight, because we're going to get a chance to hear from each watershed council, kind of about what they're about. So give me just a second. And I guess if anybody had any questions, that's a great question. So Ty asked if people have questions about their worksheet after they hear the presentation and are doing the worksheets, who should be the point of contact? And can I put you on the spot? Okay. I think your contact is going to be Alex Rice over at Calapooia. He's really great at conservation land planning. So, but and additionally, if it's more watershed specific, we can parse it out to the project manager at your local watershed council.
Why don't you go ahead and just move on to the next slide? Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight and for participating in this Plan for Your Land program and your patience as we work out all the technical kinks. So what is a watershed council? So for all of you guys who maybe are students or unfamiliar with a watershed council or just discovering us through this program as we reached out with our postcards and things, a watershed council is, I put up there the term a balanced approach to environmental restoration. So we are nonprofit organizations, and there are about 90 watershed councils throughout all of Oregon. If you look at the map down there in the corner, you'll notice all the different divided colored blotches. Those are all the different 90 watershed councils throughout all of Oregon. Something that's kind of interesting is you notice how much smaller they are as you get into the Willamette Valley here. You'll see that they are much smaller because as you're entering the Coast Range region, and you have a lot more density of streams all piled on top of each other. So watershed councils, again, like I said, are nonprofit organizations that were created starting back in 1995 to 1997 through legislation that was passed. And through that, municipalities or local governments and regions were encouraged to create these organizations. They began out as small, just board-driven organizations, and over time, we have developed into a small restoration economy, if you will, to where there are entire consultants and construction companies that work to implement, plan, and maintain projects within watersheds. So again, all environmental restoration. So the concept here is that we work to restore watersheds back to their original function, and to either restore or enhance them to try and get them back to their original function. So part of that is that we work to do boots on the ground planning, developing projects to do in-stream restoration. We do riparian vegetation, planting projects, but then we also do community outreach, education, things of that nature, to try and instill the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed for individuals, landowners, or community organizations to take the initiative in restoring their land or public resources. And Maria, if you can go to the next. So the MVRC, as we call ourselves, the Mid-Valley River Connections Group, this is the 5 watershed councils that you see here that are highlighted. So the Luckiamute Watershed Council, the Marys River Watershed Council, the Calapooia, South Santiam Watershed Council, and North Santiam Watershed Council. So these different councils have been working together through various means for upwards of 16 plus years now. And up in the late 20-teens, or about 6 years ago or so, we signed a formal MOU to then create bylaws and form this joint venture, this group, under the auspice that increasing effectiveness by sharing information and resources, providing mutual support for the efforts of each organization. We cover combined about 30% of the Willamette River Basin, about just over 6,000 to 6,400 stream miles miles of streams within all of our combined watersheds. So there is a massive amount. You're seeing the major namesake rivers that make our watershed council. So these are the primary rivers, but then all of the tributaries within there are also things that we cover, that we work to restore. We found as a group, because watershed councils are very scrappy. They started out grassroots. Again, like I said, just all volunteer-based, running from boards. Over time, we became staff-driven organizations. For the most part, that can be said for most watershed councils across the state. But with that in mind, as you're developing, this is a relatively new sector of restoration in the economy, less than 30 years old. And so through that, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that to be shared. And so knowing that we all are seeking the same overall goal of restoring watersheds and trying to restore habitat for endangered species and to bring salmon back to their historic runs, we started to band together, work together to share our skills and lessons learned amongst each other. Through this, we found that we can reach higher levels of funding through grants and different sources of partnerships that wouldn't necessarily always look at just one individual council. So it has been a great combined effort for us. Yeah, that's how we got here today. Go ahead, Marie, if you would, to the next one, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the Luckiamute Watershed Council. So for those of you guys in the room here today, you're sitting in the watershed. So our Watershed Council is in the upper leftmost corner there. So what's kind of interesting about the Luckiamute is that we do cover both the Luckiamute and Ash Creek watersheds. The Ash Creek does flow all the way to the Willamette by itself, and beginning up in the regions of Dallas to Monmouth and Independence, there are several forks that combine. This is one that has over time historically been dredged, drained, and straightened. So we are working pretty considerably to try to restore that. You'll notice down in the bottom part, though, that you have the Luckiamute River identified there. That flows from the Luckiamute, the Little Luckiamute combine, flowing all the way up from the western coastal range, and then ultimately combining with Soap Creek right before draining into Luckiamute State Natural Area and the Willamette River. We do serve the greater Independence, Monmouth, Dallas, Falls City, and Kings Valley areas, working with private landowners, public landowners and managers, and the different municipalities within. We have 7 volunteer board members, and then we have 4 paid staff, and some of them today, Suzanne here running the show for us on tech is our outreach coordinator. I am the executive director. Aubrey Cloud is our restoration program director. And then newest to our team is our monitoring coordinator, Jack Fetters. And if you want to go to the, yeah, perfect. So what we do here, you can see the upper picture, that's our entire team. So that is our volunteer board and staff all together at our annual cookout and get together. Down here, you can see us cleaning up in the bottom left. They're cleaning quite a bit of trash and debris out of Ash Creek at Pioneer Park and Independence. In the center there is some heavier duty restoration projects there. So that is a culvert being replaced. Actually, that's the new one being put in there with the tractor on it on Petey Creek, South Fork Petey Creek. And then over there to the right, you can see Suzanne and volunteers working on one of our Earth Day projects. So we do quite a bit of outreach and stewardship. The in-stream work that we do is habitat restoration. That could be large wood being placed back in the streams to restore those habitat for fish, for spawning grounds. The large wood then captures sediment and gravel to allow the salmon to make their redds. We do fish passage, just like the culvert there, replacing if, say, a culvert is perched and salmonids are no longer able to get through that to the spawning grounds, we will gain funds, work with landowners to yank that old culvert out and then either put a bridge in or a modernized culvert to restore fish passage. We've done floodplain reconnection at Luckiamute State Natural Area, where we've done monitoring and then actual dirt work to breach the banks and allow the floodplains to reconnect during high water stages. We do a considerable amount of riparian vegetation restoration and enhancement, that everything from battling invasive species to planting native species back in there to try and restore shade. And then we do a lot of community-centered outreach and stewardship, including guided nature walks, project tours, and we also do monitoring of stream temperature and vegetation success rates after our projects. So that's the Luckiamute. I'll pass it on, I believe, to Calapooia Watershed.
Don't pick me up better from over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm in the captain's chair, everybody. Okay. I introduced myself earlier, but again, I'm Collin McCandless. I'm the executive director of the Calapooia Watershed Council. I'm here with Alex Rice, who's the restoration program manager. So the Calapooia Watershed Council, we are, well, I guess just south of South Santiam. Our river is about 72 miles long. Calapooia is, and our service area extends all the way to the Willamette River from the Lane County border, all the way up to about Millersburg and some of North Albany. So almost all of where we are is within Lane County. Yeah, and so that includes Albany, Brownsville, Harrisburg, Shedd, Tangent, Crawfordsville, and Halsey. And oh, I'm glad you pushed that because I would have pushed the wrong button and ruined this. So here's some images of the things that we do. There are 4 of us. 2 of us are here. We have an operations coordinator, Fiona Julian, and Kristen Daly, who's seen there holding a salmon carcass. Even though I know that this is mainly a restoration-based process that we're going through right now, I do want to highlight our education program. For anybody that's in the Calapooia Basin, have lived there for a while, or is familiar with the work that we do, has probably been impacted by our education program to some degree with our outdoor school programs, urban ecology, salmon watch, and also some of the snorkeling programs that we've done over the last 10 years. And so we're really proud of that. And so I always want to push it out there every time, like, oh, we do this cool stuff. It's not just restoration. But anyways, some of the cool projects that we've done include tree tipping on the upper Calapooia, like you see there. That's a tree that's, I don't know, I think it was over 6 feet DBH, and that we pulled down for stream habitat. We also have done surveys for salmon redds all throughout the whole 72 miles of the river. Lots of in-stream work of all different kinds and flavors and sizes, and a huge focus of what we do is main stem Willamette work right now too, which is really exciting, either connecting gravel pits to the Willamette during high winter flows for salmonids, and just kind of changing some of the hydrology going on along the Willamette to open up some refuge for fishes seasonally. And yeah, that's I guess yeah, throughout our history of doing work here, we've done a whole host of different projects with people. So I'm excited to see what interest people have. I'll pass it on to the Marys.
Everybody, can y'all hear me okay? Thumbs up. We're good? Great. Before I get started, I'll just pass it over quickly to Suzanne. I'm not gonna, you don't say anything, Suzanne, but I wanted to just point out that she's available to answer questions in the chat. Is that right? I think, yeah, you were reaching out to people and saying if you're online and you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and Suzanne or someone will get back to you. My name is Nina Dominici. I'm the Education Program Director in the Marys River. We're all sitting here in the Marys River right now. We are located in Corvallis. Our office is in Corvallis. We're hosting this in Corvallis as well right now. I'm going to point, hopefully it's okay. You can see where I'm pointing. We're up here kind of on the western edge of the map. Our river headwaters start up on the flanks of Mary's Peak. So if you're down in the valley and you're looking up at Mary's Peak, you can kind of see where our headwaters are coming from. And it flows down through Philomath in the center there and empties into the main stem Willamette right near downtown. And we also serve Jackson Fraser, which is kind of has some quote orphan streams. They don't flow into the Marys, they go straight into the main stem Willamette, and we also serve that area. The towns that we're serving are Corvallis, Philomath, Blodgett, Adair Village, and as well as some smaller areas like Wren. I'll go through the staff real quick. Nicole DeCrepio is our new executive director. I'm the education program director. We have Danielle with us, who's been coordinating this effort for us, our AmeriCorps Vista. We have 2 new restoration project managers, Scott Shaft and Rachel Rosenstein, and they will be here some of the weeks and on the project tour, interacting with y'all and helping to answer questions. And then we have 6 other staff members who are at various appointment levels. We share, like Aubrey Cloud and Jack Fetters with Luckiamute, doing monitoring work and planting work. And then we have support staff as well, like operations and finance team. Yeah, so what we do, very similar to what other folks presented, we're trying, as they stated, to restore ecosystem process in the ecosystems that we have included in our watershed. And I'll point out the pictures quickly. The top right here is putting large wood into streams. I believe that's in Shot Pouch Creek, which is kind of in the upper stretches of our watershed, up on the flanks of Mary's Peak. These are cold water refuges for fish, and restoring process there helps ensure their survival and reconnecting the river with its floodplain. And we also do a lot of beaver-based restoration. We have projects both in Corvallis and do some work in the upper stretches of the watershed as well, working with trying to restore beaver habitat, as well as give people positive ways to coexist with beavers. And we know that they can be a problem in some areas, and so we're trying to help foster that coexistence. Within the restoration, we also do a lot of, we see Aubrey here holding a bunch of plants. We share Aubrey with the Luckiamute, and we do a lot of riparian zone planting. We also, this picture where everybody's kind of standing around in a field there, that shows the Wren Prairie project, where we were doing a restoration related to endangered butterflies, restoring habitat for them. So it's not just stream, we do in-stream work, we do riparian zone work, and we do prairie work. And then there's some pictures of kids here. We have a pretty large education and outreach program, including a youth watershed council program, which is a high school program where we work with kids for an entire school year and get them involved in restoration work as well as outreach work in the community. I think that's about it. Nice.
Is it?
And we'll pass it on.
Bye. All right, I'll pass it to Ty.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyrell Styhl. I'm the Ecological Projects Manager and Interim Executive Director for the South Santiam Watershed Council. We're celebrating our 30th birthday this year. We signed our Articles of Incorporation in 1996, and we were started by the Lynn County Soil and Water Conservation District and members of the community that wanted to see more restoration and cared about the watershed that they lived in. Our main mission is to enhance and protect the natural resources within the South Santiam for both the social, environmental, and economic benefit for all of the folks that live there, work there, and visit. For the longest time, our offices were located in Sweet Home, And just this last summer in July, we moved to downtown Lebanon. So we were more central to our large service area, which is about 1,044 square miles. It stretches from the crest of the Cascades all the way down to just about four or 5 miles south of us here in Jefferson. We serve the communities of Lebanon, Sweet Home, Scio, Lacombe, Waterloo, Cascadia, Sodaville, all these smaller communities stretched throughout. We only have 2 staff members right now, myself and Alex Shoulders, who is our watershed education and outreach coordinator. And like other folks have said, we do a multitude of river restoration, riparian restoration, upland habitat enhancements. We've worked with landowners doing CREP projects on their upland habitat, all the way to doing planting and invasive weed management. In the bottom left picture, these are one of our contractors working on Japanese knotweed in the Crabtree Basin. We worked there for several years trying to manage Japanese knotweed because it is a prolific invasive species. We've also started moving into beaver-based restoration and beaver coexistence. In the top upper left picture, I actually just took this picture last week. It's of a pond leveler in the sub-basin of Hamilton Creek outside of Lebanon. We've been doing culvert exclusion devices. We also have done large wood placements. This is a picture from Thomas Creek on Avery Family Forest. We did several large wood placements in Thomas Creek, and last year I actually saw baby coho salmon underneath one of them. And we also, like the Calapooia, have a pretty big education component that Alex manages. We do the outdoor school for Sweet Home School District. In the past, we also did it for Lebanon. We manage Salmon Watch for both Lebanon and Sweet Home School Districts, and we're working to get our Youth Watershed Council back off the ground. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the South Santiam.
Pass it to Brandon. Everybody has to high five me when you leave. All right, thank you. Brandin Hilbrandt, Executive Director of the North Santiam Watershed Council. So thank you all for being here. I've been in this position about 3 years now, but worked in the watershed for about 10, primarily focusing on water quality, drinking water, and ranging from there. So there's been a lot of events happening in the watershed the last few years. So I'm really excited to kind of extend that knowledge and also bring in resources into the community. So I'm really excited to see how this workshop progresses over time and just really connecting with the community here. So our mission is providing opportunities for stakeholders to incorporate in promoting and sustaining the health of the watershed and its communities. Like most watershed councils, we're non-advocacy, non-regulatory, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. Got that in 2017, but similarly, like we're coming up to about 30 years. I think we're at 28 years of being incorporated. We're located in Styhl, Oregon, and our watershed covers over 766 square, so that should be miles. So an expansive amount of acreage, and there's 3 staff. So it's a really, diverse need throughout the communities going from Santiam past all the way to the valley bottom. But it provides a lot of really good opportunity to help restore ecologically, bring funding into the communities, do a lot of post-fire recovery the last few years. And there's always opportunities to learn and think of creative solutions for how we can meet goals of landowners, land managers, stakeholders, and various public agencies. Our basin covers both Marion and Linn counties, depending on which side of the river you're at. We also have an extended service area. So in Styhl, there's a diversion point. There's a couple diversion points. So the city of Salem diverts their water for drinking water, as well as the Santiam Water Control District for irrigation. So with the need that, these smaller watershed councils in Salem area, there's a couple like areas that aren't covered by watershed councils. We thought that we could support those smaller watershed councils by extending our service area into the Salem area as well as south of Salem to the Albany Jefferson transect of the Willamette River and the Santiam River. This was justified with augmented flows into Mill Creek. So we have a couple big projects on Mill Creek in Salem proper, but expand all the way up to the Brighton Bush past Detroit. We have a lot of projects in Staten, which is really, fantastic. There's a lot of great opportunities out there. And we're looking forward to more restoration projects on the lower side of the basin too. So again, it's 3 staff. So myself, we've got Marie back here, and then we just hired another restoration project manager last week. So provides more opportunities to help you all out. Okay, so here are a couple photos. Again, like the beauty of this collaboration is that we have a lot of goals that we try to meet within our watershed councils. And so we're able to collaborate, bring in resources, learn about things that were successful, as well as how to improve moving forward. And so this is a great collaborative effort between us and the other 4 watershed councils to help meet those goals. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with this and see what the goals are that you all had to bring, as well as, are there issues here and you're just not really sure what to do. So similarly, we do a lot of fish passage projects, so culvert replacements. We've looked at, building bridges as well, so infrastructure improvements. A lot of that's been focused on post-fire recovery in the basin the last 5 years. But that extends also to aquatic surveys for invasive species in that. We focus on side channels and floodplain areas. We look at native plantings in the riparian area to help with temperatures on the river. And I think it's really important to think that, we're able to bring these funding opportunities into the communities, but the co-benefits that happen too. And how, we have a project that we just wrapped up with a landowner who has 3 generations on their property, and he's wanting to leave a legacy. He has a property that's about 200 plus acres, and we did from, beaver projects to riparian plantings to thinning out timber areas. We also do fuels reductions, and then we're not really focused on watershed education, but we partner with a lot of folks that do watershed education. So we help those partnerships in doing, Salmon Watch, which covers, 3rd graders to high schoolers who learn about fish biology, aquatic insects, just an array of, hands-on activities that just bring in that stewardship. And we also work with local high school students who come out, do service projects on properties too, to help leverage the community aspect, as well as kind of leveraging wherever we can. So I think that's it. Cool. Yeah, thanks. You can high five too. Nice. 3 really good high fives, guys. All right. We'll stop sharing. We're a little bit over time, so thank you guys all again for coming and for being here and being patient with us as we figure everything out as well. And so I just really wanted to highlight, I think Jordan had said it, that it's like our 5 basins cover like 30% of the Willamette Valley. That's like a huge swath of land. And so we're really glad to have all of you come out and be a part of this. Because you do. I mean, I'm a little biased. I grew up here. I think you live in one of the most beautiful places on earth. And there's just beautiful abundance of resources. So looking ahead, you guys don't have any homework this week, but your Watershed Council will be sending out the agenda for next week, as well as making sure you have that online access to class materials. And so next week we'll be covering native and invasive plants, as well as kind of other invasive pests. We'll have Matt Mills from ODF come and talk about emerald ash borer, as well as I believe the oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry, the Mediterranean oak borer and other such forest pests. And we'll have Grant Jackson from ODA talking about native and invasive pests, and we'll have Alex Rice presenting on conservation planning. So looking forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Thank you again. And I think Suzanne put it in the chat, but yeah, the recording of this session will be available a day or two afterwards. So thank you again, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next week, February 4th, we will have Session 1, covering an introduction to conservation planning and invasive and native species. Please look for an email with an agenda and more details coming soon. Here are your plan for your land contacts. Feel free to reach out to the contacts listed on the screen for the respective watershed councils with any questions you may have. If you're unsure which watershed you belong to, you can contact any of them.